this, like, kind of crotchety, bitchy girl that's, you know, maybe doesn't treat people very well. You know, she catches a ride with this guy. And he turns out to be okay, just a little pathetic, you know, nice enough guy, a little bit of a stalker, but...
Yeah.
So he came off as a little annoying, and she was very annoying, and it was like, you know, I almost don't care what happened to these two people. So I like to care a little more about the characters and what's happening to them.
Well, the problem that I had with this one right from the get-go was this is one of those movies that I like to call it just a screw that movie, because I had a hard time connecting with it because I found them in a situation where I just wouldn't have been in. You know what I mean? Like right from the beginning, she's 2 hours late for a ride, getting her ride to go home to Delaware or wherever they were headed.
We didn't quite explain that. I mean, if you want to touch on that real quick, how he tricked her into catching a ride with him.
Well, yeah, exactly. That was. I guess I wasn't necessarily going to talk about that, but that's okay. Because yeah, she wants to get home. She normally flies, or she's going to take a Greyhound bus to get there. It turns out that this guy, you know, beat her to the school boards and put up a hastily scrolled flyer that says, "Hey, you're going to Delaware." Well, it turns out that this guy had made a decision to...
Well, he'd been stalking her, I think.
Yeah, I guess so. Yeah, he looked over her shoulder, saw that she wasn't going to make it home. Turns out that, you know, when he saw that, like I said, he races her to where the boards are and throws up this thing that says, "Hey, you going to Delaware?" And here's the number to call.
He was actually looking at her text messages.
Yeah.
In class, he's like hanging over her shoulder and actually reads where, you know, he knows where she's headed and that she doesn't have a ride. And
right. So
yeah, it was all just kind of creepy and weird, actually.
Turns out that it's even more than that, just because you find out, and he says things that lead you to believe and let you know that he's been watching her more than just at in class. Because at first you think, oh, well, that's not so bad. Maybe he's just being nosy and looking over his shoulder. Turns out he's been doing more than that. But I don't want to give any more of that away. But they do address that in the story and stuff. But yeah.
Well, and that's the whole underlying story is it's this kind of like little light, weird love story.
Yeah.
Because how it wraps up, we won't say how it wraps up at the end, but, you know, it's kind of at the end. Like, oh, well, that's sweet, you know.
And
but it's like, wait a minute, I'm not supposed to be having that feeling right now at the end of this stupid movie.
Yeah.
You know, it kind of ended with a little moment where, oh, he cared for her and she cares for him after all they'd been through. And it's like, what the hell? I don't know.
Okay.
I think it lost focus. It just all unraveled there. I don't know.
There was a couple of things that I thought was just nasty, like her actually walking barefoot on the floor.
Oh, okay, that was the horror portion of the movie. Because I'll just say right now, for anyone who doesn't know me, I am a germphobe, and walking barefoot in a restaurant and using their bathroom, thank God she put her socks on and her shoes when she went in the bathroom, but watching her pad around this gas station and stuff with her bare feet and going into, oh no.
Yeah.
Like, oh God, who knows what she's stepping in or on.
Yeah.
So yeah, that was the horror portion of the movie for me personally.
That actually brings up a couple of things really quick. First of all, one of those things is the fact that I don't think this movie needed to be rated R. Normally, I watch it and my complaint is, oh, this is a PG-13 movie. They should have made it R. It would have been better if they could have shown just a little bit more gore. Not that I'm a gore hound. I've addressed that in other podcasts.
Well,
but this one, they've rated it R, and I don't think there was any real coarse language, and
there wasn't.
It was marginal at best.
No, there wasn't any. No, there was nothing that you could find on there that you wouldn't see in a PG-13. And when it ended and you actually told me that it was a rated R movie, I had no idea.
Yeah.
I sat there and watched that whole entire thing thinking the whole time that, okay, well, it's not a rated R movie. Because, yeah, there's no swearing that I remember. Granted, I sometimes don't hear it. But, yeah, as far, it wasn't blood and guts and horrible. It really wasn't that bad. I don't understand. A couple disturbing images.
One other thing that I wanted to say was whole movie the majority of the movie takes place in the dark. And I didn't necessarily like so much of it being dark. But having said that, I do like the way they used some of the light and shadows when they were in the car and stuff, and I thought they were pretty good. Unfortunately, you can see kind of a goof there as far as continuity or as far as the movie goes, that they're casting multiple shadows when they're outside the car. Lets you know that they had the scene lit up pretty well with lights from different areas, because when they're out walking in the snow, they've got 2 to 3 shadows following them. Mm-hmm. So, I mean, there's minor things like that, but you got to be a real dork to catch that. So I did.
You're a dork.
Yeah. So anyhow, I'm going to wrap this up since we're going a little long on time. What is your final rating for the movie?
I'd stick it in the 5 or 6 range. Maybe a 5. I want it to be a 6, but I
would say a 6. I would say the same thing too, because it's okay if you got nothing else to watch, if you enjoy the story and want to see or something to think about and talk about. Again, a lot of times we can enjoy things, or I can stand movies because you and I can talk about it and, hash out some of the plots and so on. So if you have somebody to share this with, it'd be worth watching on a Saturday afternoon or whatever.
Yeah, there's things to enjoy about it. Yeah. Not very many, but they're there.
Okay.
If nothing more, that you could say, God, you guys just walk up the road, just walk back to the gas station. How hard is it?
Yeah, it's one of those movies you can shout at the TV and go, "What are you, stupid?"
Because when I was like you read off the back of the box, that's what I was expecting. Oh my God, they're stuck, because we lived in the snow, and a lot of people do, and yeah, that could be pretty treacherous conditions, but they were getting out of the car and walking all around, walking up and down the hill, coming back to the car. Okay, they could have walked back to the gas station by now. And it was not snowing. It wasn't a storm anymore. Yeah. Why are we not out running back to the gas station? Because that's where I would have been.
Yeah.
I'd have been halfway up the road by the time that second ghostly thing appeared. Yeah. I would have had to see one. I'd have been gone. That was it. So 5.
A 5.
Really
okay,
a 5.
Talked it down. Okay.
Yeah.
5 for you, a 6 for me. And that's pretty much it. So thanks for joining us, and I hope you enjoy the rest of the show.
I'm gonna eat a lot of peaches.
So if you're looking for the finest skill toys, check out doodadweb.com. You can find Duncan, Yo-Man, Yo-Yo Jam, any of the skill toys that you might want there. They have skill toys for all levels, from beginners, intermediate, or advanced. Whether you're looking for kites, flying disc, yo-yos, ripcord tops, all of your needs can be met at doodadweb.com. Check it out.
What's different, Pete, about the 69 that makes it so exciting to you?
2,000 people in a seething, roaring, shouting mass.
All the people I know are musicians. I revolve around music. That's all I know. They each got their own little thing they like.
Welcome to the Garbage In, Garbage Out segment. What do we have here to talk about? Well, we've got a ton of things to talk about, actually, though we did spend a large portion of our evenings watching the Olympics. That's still going on. Mm-hmm. Any favorite events that you have?
Oh, they're all so good. Short track, that's probably my favorite.
Yeah, that was some pretty exciting stuff, and the cool thing is that short track stuff goes pretty darn quick, but a lot of excitement there.
Yeah.
Okay.
Sounds exciting, doesn't it?
Jump right in. Anytime you hear dead air, just feel free to speak up and say something or move on.
Not hearing dead air very often. I don't know.
Okay. One of the other things that we did this week is we got out to see The Wolfman. We generally don't get out to see first-run movies a lot, unfortunately, or fortunately, as the case may be. I mean, it seems like
it's fine.
A lot of the experiences we have at the movie theaters.
I cannot stand going to the movie theater.
You pay too much for too little entertainment.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, the antics of the other people in the theater are generally more distracting, so.
Yeah.
We did see The Wolfman, though. What did you think about that?
I enjoyed it.
Yeah?
Yeah, I thought it was pretty good.
Did it compare to the original for you?
Wow, how do you... How did it compare in what way?
Well, I mean did you
it's
think...
totally different. I mean, same story, not totally different, but a totally different feel.
Yeah, I actually
for me
thought for me it had the same feel to it because we just watched the original a couple of weeks back, and it had kind of a disjointed feeling to it. I don't know how else to describe it.
Yeah. Wait, so you're saying the original seemed disjointed?
A little
actually,
bit.
It did, yeah.
It did a little bit, and
yeah.
This one had that same kind of feeling to it, just a little bit, I think. Not a complaint about it, but...
Yeah. I could see that.
Yeah, it actually had that same thing.
I thought it was... Sorry.
Go ahead.
No, you...
I was just going to say I thought there were kind of things that you were left to fill in the story a little bit. It wasn't really fleshed out in either one, the original or this one. So
Yeah.
But all in all, I enjoyed the graphics. Computer graphics weren't too bad. A little over the top in a couple of spots, but...
Yeah, I heard people say it was more graphic than they expected as far as the violence and the blood and gut moments.
Yeah.
It wasn't that bad, but I don't know. I guess people weren't expecting that.
Yeah, there were some pretty intense scenes there. Like you said, they weren't that bad. They were in darkness and stuff, but there was there were a few things that were a little bit surprising for a monster movie. But again, you're going to see a monster movie, so who knows? Yeah,
an updated one. So of course it's going to be more graphic than the old black and white.
Yeah, for sure. One of the other things that we saw this week was Boondock Saints. And wow, I have no idea how I missed this movie. Because
I don't know either. It's been around a while.
It's been, I think it came out in about 99. I heard lots of good things about it, but just never got around to seeing it. But wow, I really did enjoy it. It wasn't overly deep or complicated per se, but a lot of fun to watch. Some of it was a bit tongue-in-cheek and certainly a little bit of black humor in there, but lots of fun. So Boondock Saints, if you like crime, adventure, action-type movies, that would be one to see, I think.
Yeah, you can't be offended by the F word either.
Oh, yeah, I guess not.
It's one of those.
They used it so casually and so often, I just pretty soon didn't even really hear it there.
That's exactly it.
Somehow.
Because one of my sisters always gets distracted by that in movies. The occasional, F-bomb flying out there, you go, oh, for impact or whatever, but movies that overuse it and it's in every sentence or people are constantly screaming it, my sister actually finds that distracting in a movie. And that it won't necessarily ruin it for her, but it always makes an impression on her, and that's what she always remembers about it. So I think it's definitely one of those. Okay, well, it's good that we mentioned. Aside from that, though, just for people that, that don't want to hear that, but if that sort of thing doesn't bother you, it's a great movie. Yeah. Such lovable characters. Just love the brothers. Yeah, definitely enjoyable. I think there's a second one coming out, All Saints Day, so I'm looking forward to seeing that. Yes. That one, it won't take me, 10... I hope not. However long. Because I'd like to see it a little sooner than that, Definitely. Yeah. What else? One of the other things I'd like to urge you to check out that is sort of new to me. I'd known for a while I was getting into animating with Flash for web pages and such. So Zombie was something that I was aware of a few years back. But if you guys have time, check that out on the web. It's a Flash animation cartoon called Zombie, and that's actually spelled with an X. Xombie. Just do a Google search, or I will include in the show notes a link to Zombie. But that's a lot of fun. Check that out. If you like horror, it's a zombie that is, he's retained much of his intelligence. They start out showing him early in one of the early episodes reading a book, as well as protecting a small human girl that's there after the apocalypse, after the zombie apocalypse. So that's lots of fun. You should check that out. That's Zombie. So what else have we been reading lately? What I'm reading, or getting ready to read or listen to in this case, is The Terror. And that's by Dan Simmons, and that was something that Jamie had recommended, or at least an author that Jamie had recommended. This wasn't the one that he suggested that I read per se, but I couldn't find a copy of that at the library. But I did find another
another book by him called The Terror. So I'm looking forward to that. I haven't started that yet. In the meantime, I am still listening to Something Wicked This Way Comes. That is sensational. I